Hi guys, we'll get started in just a second as soon as people have had a chance to join. Still tired. How is everybody today? Hi Kwan, how are you?
Hi, Michaela. How are you?
I'm doing well. And you?
I'm good.
What have you been up to? Working hard?
Well, yeah. Yeah, I'm just taking a break.
Excellent. An English break?
An English break. It is always great to take an English break with Berlin.
Awesome. I'm glad you feel that way, because otherwise it's difficult to take a break from work and then go to school.
Yeah, but, well, it's different because, well, not only you learn, and also you talk about other things and are around nice people, so it's
Yeah, it's a positive atmosphere.
exactly, yeah.
We'll wait just a couple more seconds to start since we still have people coming in. Hi Remus, how are you?
Fine, good. Pretty good.
Awesome. You're doing a lot of English today, aren't you? How many classes have you taken?
With you one and now class two class.
Excellent. So this is number 3 for you?
Yes. I start practicing English since for 3 months.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
I learn English all day. I have the motivation for learning English. My English in the first is very bad, but I try to improve in it.
Well, you definitely are sounding good now. Hopefully in a few days you'll be even better.
I wish.
And new student, I eat children. That's
Yeah?
not your name, but Hi. What's your name?
الجوهرة.
Johan?
الجوهرة.
Johanna.
It's kind of hard. الجوهرة.
Johanna.
In the middle.
Would you write it in the chat box for me so I know what to call you? Sorry.
Okay.
Or I could just call you I eat children. That's cute too.
It's okay. Thank you.
Al Johara. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Well, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Are you new to Verbling or have you been here many times?
I started yesterday.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. And why
Yes.
are you learning English? For work or for fun?
Actually, I'm studying English in college, and I'm very interested in poetry, and I really love Edgar Allan Poe. And I aim to understand English to understand his poetry and his story because I want to be
Awesome.
a scholar. Yes.
Great. Nice to have you in
Thank you.
class.
Thank you. You too.
Amer, hello.
Yes, I'm fine.
Awesome. What time is it for you?
What?
What time is it for you?
It's 6:15.
6:15 p.m.?
Yes, PM.
Awesome. That's very different from me. Here it's 9 a.m.
Uh-huh.
All right, so we'll do quick introductions and then we'll jump into Shakespeare. So my name is Michaela. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and I've been teaching English abroad for a few years and with Verbling for a few months. And I love it here. I love to meet all these new people. All right, so I'm going to have each of you tell me your name, where you're from, and how about the hardest thing in English, the thing you think is the most difficult in English. And I'm going to start with Al-Juhada.
Hi, my name is Al-Johara. I'm from Saudi Arabia, and I think the hardest thing in English is the pronunciation.
Definitely,
It's
that's
the
very
vowel
difficult.
sound.
Yeah. All right. Remus, your turn.
Yes. I start English. I start English for 3 months. I know anything in English. Is my is I have based in motivation. The difficult thing in English is there is a lot of phrasal verb, a lot
Phrasal verbs are hard.
opposite of French. There is not because I'm Moroccan, and the second language is French. I'm fluent in French, but the the difficult thing in English is there is a lot of phrasal verb and the part of grammatical is also difficult. And but I like this language. I think I get it. I get it soon.
Excellent. Awesome. Kwan, would you like to go?
Yes. Well, I also found it difficult for in the aspect of pronunciation and also fluency.
So speaking, maybe?
Yeah, the speaking. I don't know. Maybe it's normal to since it's not the native language to tend with some words. In my case, I have found that it's when I try to use synonyms for not using the same words.
Mm-hmm.
That I how do you this thing that I'm doing that hesitate
Oh, yeah.
to talk to finish what I'm saying, but it is because I'm translating the words or maybe finding a synonym, and that's the hardest part for me.
Yeah, vocabulary can be
Yeah.
tricky. All right, Amer,
Yes.
introduce yourself and tell us what's the hardest part of English.
My name is Amir. and I am Egyptian. I live in Egypt. Um, the hardest thing in English, it's the grammar because I studying in British Council, and the hardest thing is the grammar. It's very complicated for me.
Yeah, it can be very complicated and very different from your native language.
Yes, definitely.
All right. And Alex Brown, hello.
Hi,
Where are you from?
Spain. I'm from
Is your
Spain.
name really Alex Brown?
Yeah, it is.
Interesting. So how did you get the name Brown? That seems not like a Spanish name.
I know. My family is from the U.S., so it's from.
Oh,
It came from that.
interesting. I
Yeah.
see. Very cool, very cool. And what do you think the hardest part of English is?
Slang, I think. I don't know. Maybe like
Slang,
the
definitely.
difference. Yeah, the difference between American English and British English. I find it the most difficult part of it. Probably. I think. I don't know. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, there are some differences in slang and vocabulary and grammar and lots of differences between British English and American English. And there's even more kinds of English which I think can be difficult as well. Can you guys name some other types of English? We've got British English, obviously, and American English. But what else is there?
Like if you talk about British English as the English that come from the United Kingdom, not just Britain. So, or if you
Yeah.
talk more of English, or just, I don't know if I'm making
Yeah.
myself clear.
Yeah, definitely. And what other countries? This question is for everybody. What other countries speak English? So,
Australia.
Australia, and they have a different accent too. So there's a lot of differences in Australian English versus British English and American English. What other countries? There's many more.
South Africa,
South Africa and
in Ireland.
Ireland
Also
and
does.
more?
Canada.
Canada. More?
The British community, the Ireland, the Scottish, and Wales.
Yeah, the UK, all of the UK, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and there's still a few more we're missing. Can anyone think of others?
Jamaica is.
Jamaica, yeah, that one is so hard to understand. I have a lot of trouble understanding people from Jamaica. So for you guys, it must be very difficult as well. And any others you guys can think of?
I
There is a
think
lot.
people from India, it's hard to understand.
Yeah, their accent can be tricky, for sure.
There's
that
a
all
lot
we
of.
can-
There's a lot of country in Africa that speak English.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. They don't all have it as their national language, but a lot of people from Africa do use English to communicate with other countries for business, for lots of stuff.
Yeah.
New Zealand. New Zealand is the one that you were missing.
Yes, New Zealand. So I think we got them all, but yeah, I mean, there's so many countries that speak English. Some is their language, like as the language of the state, and some they just speak it also in addition to another language. But there's a lot, and so it can be tricky to differentiate between all the different types. We had a couple more students join. Igor T, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi guys, hi Michaela, my name is Igor, I'm from Israel, and this is my first class with you, so I'm glad to be with you, and I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm very glad to have you. And this class should be difficult, but hopefully not too difficult. We're learning about Shakespeare because Shakespeare is a little different than all of the types of English we just mentioned because he's like Old English. It's similar to British English, but it's not exactly the same. There's a lot of terms that he uses that are not frequent anymore, so it adds a level of difficulty. Does everyone have the notes?
Yeah.
The notes for the class? It
I
says.
don't.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna put a link in the chat box for you. I'll put one in each chat box. Just click on that and the notes should load. The first page says Shakespeare, and then it has some discussion questions for us. Does everyone see the link?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
If you guys have any trouble, definitely let me know, because we're going to be working on these for pretty much the whole class, so it's important. So before we get into the actual text, I want to know what you guys know from Shakespeare. Do you guys know any quotes from him or any plays he's written? Have you read any Shakespeare? I'm going to start on the right for this one. Remus, do you know any quotes from Shakespeare? Do you know who he is? Are you there, Remus? Huh. We can't hear you, so if you're having audio trouble, let us know in the chat box, okay? Kwan, how about you? Do you know anything about Shakespeare?
Yes. He's considered the father of literature in English.
Definitely.
And he's from, he was from England.
Mm-hmm.
Also, his most famous work is Hamlet. That is a play.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's one of his works for sure. I don't know if it's his most famous, but it's probably one of his most famous.
Yeah, it's one of the most famous. I say that because since it is taught in every course, like if well, in our case that we go to English class,
Mm-hmm.
it's the equivalent of the father of literature in Spanish. That also I think there's a interesting fact that Miguel de Cervantes and Shakespeare, I don't remember which, but one was born on the 23rd of April and the other on the same day, but it was the opposite. He died.
I see.
And that
Interesting.
day is considered the International Day of the book or reading
Wow.
because of that.
Very interesting. Igor?
Yeah.
What do you know about Shakespeare?
He was a very famous English poetryist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how to say?
Mm-hmm. A poet?
A poet. He
Mm-hmm.
lived in, I think, 18th century,
Mm-hmm.
and until now, nobody knows who he was actually. No, who it was. Nobody knows this person, and this is the mystical person in English history.
He is a pretty mysterious figure in history.
Yeah. So he built one of the first theaters in London those days, and to be or not to be, I think everybody knows this.
Yeah.
Quote.
Do you know what work that's from?
Yeah, from Hamlet.
Yeah. I just wanted to see, because some people know a quote but don't know where it's from, or they know the title of the book but don't know what it's about. So I wanted to see if you already knew that. Amir, what do you know about Shakespeare?
I don't.
What? I can't hear you anymore, Amir. Are you there?
Any.
Whoa. Audio difficulties. We have two of him now. Amir, we're gonna come back to you because I can't hear you. If
You hear
you
me?
need, oh, yeah, now I hear you.
Okay. When he 18, he married Annie Hepburn, I think. And he had three children, Susanna, and twins, Hamlet and Jody. That's all information I know about Shakespeare.
All right, good. Alex, what do you know about Shakespeare?
I know everything that you've said before, and I don't know, I've read a couple of books of him, and I
What
like
have you
it.
read? What have you read from him?
Hamlet, also Romeo and Juliet, and also I think, I don't know how it's called in English. Okay. Okay, let me look for it. I think it is like, it is A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Oh,
Midsummer
okay.
Night's Dream.
And you
Also.
read the translations of them, so you read them in Spanish?
I did read it in English, Hamlet, and also the other two of them in Spanish.
Wow. Awesome. So this should be review for you then. You can help us out.
Yeah, I don't think so, but yeah. Yeah.
All right. Remus, are you back?
Yes, yes.
And what do you know about Shakespeare?
Shakespeare is a famous dramatist and playwright. His famous work is Hamlet. Shakespeare is a crucial influence on the community Anglo-Saxon, and his work is translated by Agatha Christie and Jules Verne. There is a writer, a French writer.
Awesome. You know a lot. Okay. So any other comments on Shakespeare or any other quotes from his work that you guys can think of?
Yes, that's right.
All right.
That's it.
I think that for me, or in the US, his most famous work is Romeo and Juliet, but Shakespeare or Hamlet is probably a close second. And internationally, I'm not really sure. It's difficult for me to say because I only know about in the US. But I read several works of his in high school, and I think they're very interesting, but very, very difficult to read. Today we're going to read part of Hamlet and learn about what the story was about a little bit. So if you scroll down on your notes, do you see where it says Hamlet has some serious problems? Hope everyone sees that. Oh, we have a new student. Mohammed Abulaguig?
Yes,
Sorry, did I just ruin your name? Will you introduce yourself for us? Oop. Oh, no. Oh, he's gone. Okay. So we're on Hamlet has some serious problems. I'm going to have you guys read them. First bullet point, Remus, will you read?
Okay. Hamlet has some serious problems. Hamlet has some serious problems. His father has been murdered. His mother has married the man who murdered his father. The girl he has
Sorry,
going
the
to
exorcist.
Continue.
what? Ah, yes. The girl he was going to marry has drowned. His father's goes to visit him every night. He must take revenge, but he can't act. Something stop him.
Yeah, so he's got a lot of problems, huh?
Yes.
Um,
As he thinks about the situation, he asks himself many questions. The first, to be or not to be, that is the question. What do you think he means? What is not to be?
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Aluhara?
I continue.
No, I'm talking to the student on the right of you in the box. Al-Juhada. Are you there? No? Okay, well, I hope she gets back. So, what about to be or not to be? That's kind of the most famous phrase from this work, and it's very powerful, very famous. What do you guys think it means? To be or not to be? What is he asking?
That's the question everybody asks themselves before they committed suicide.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
So it seems simple, but it's a very deep question.
But I think that somebody who asks this question maybe is in a very depressed situation. So this is not the common question everybody. Maybe maybe everybody asks this question during his life, but very few people makes with that statement something.
Definitely. I think maybe it's very common to ask yourself this, but not very common to actually consider death over life.
To act after
Yeah.
this question.
To act, exactly. So if you scroll down to the next page, you'll see it says Hamlet is asking, shall I continue living or shall I kill myself? And for anyone who does not already know, shall, S-H-A-L-L, is like an old British term for will. So it's future tense, but it's a vocabulary word that's old British. Then underneath that we have some useful vocabulary because we're about to read a very difficult section of Shakespeare, and these are words that will be useful to know. Let's have.
Excuse me, Michaela. Is it wrong to use shall in the modern language?
No, modern language, it's not very common. It's still correct grammar, but it's just not common. So you sound very formal and a little strange if you use it, but it's still correct grammar. So if you want to use it to be fancy or to say something special, you're welcome to use it.
Okay. So I will use will instead of shall?
Yeah.
What will I do instead what shall I do?
Yes. If you're just looking to understand what's written there, it would mean the same thing if you said, will I continue living or will I kill myself? It would mean the same thing. So we have some useful... Yeah, did you have another question?
What about future, for example? Yeah, for example, when I can use should and when can I use would?
Those are differences in definition. So would is something conditional, something that you might do. It's kind of another lesson, but should is something that you have an obligation to do. So if I should brush my teeth, it means it's a good idea if I brush my teeth. I have some obligation. But if I say, I would brush my teeth, but I don't have toothpaste, it means that I want to, but it's not possible. They talk about two different things, but we'll leave that for another lesson because
Okay.
it's a
Okay.
complicated topic. We could spend all day just on that.
Okay.
So the vocabulary, Kwan, will you read the vocabulary, the useful vocabulary for us?
Okay, just let me pull it up here. Can you guide me in which?
It's on the second page, and it's right underneath where it says Hamlet is asking, shall I continue living or shall I kill myself?
Okay, quietus. Take arms, fight. Bodkin, knife.
Okay, so quietus means death, take arms is to fight, and bodkin is a knife. Match the plain English to the Shakespeare English. So now we're going to read several plain English phrases and match them to the Shakespeare ones. This is where it's going to get difficult, guys. Once we start reading Shakespeare, it's going to be, pronunciation is going to be difficult, and you guys are going to have a lot of questions. But don't worry about understanding every single word, because there are a lot of words that are not useful vocabulary words for you. The best thing is to just worry about understanding the whole of the paragraph. So it doesn't matter so much each word, but as long as you understand the idea behind a paragraph, that's the important part, okay? So A, let's have, oh, we have a new student. Ismail? Hello? Ismail? We can't hear you, Ismail, so we might be having microphone
hello,
trouble.
Teacher.
Hi, how are you?
Do you hear me?
I do.
Fine, thanks.
Would you like to give us a quick introduction?
I am connecting from Turkey. I am Ismail. I am a public servant.
And
I try to improve my English.
excellent. And what do you know about Shakespeare?
I know the Hamlet of the Shakespeare, and
Yeah.
but my foreign language level is not enough to read Shakespeare and to understand, maybe.
Uh-oh. Well, maybe give it a try today. We have Alex Brown is an expert, so he'll help us, and I'll help too. So hopefully together we can learn to read some of it.
Yes.
All right. So Alex, would you like to read A, B, and C of the
Yeah.
plain English text? Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. A, but what is it there after death? This is a difficult question, and maybe there are more problems afterwards. So we prefer to tolerate the problems we have now. B, who wants to fight against so many problems? We could find peace by killing ourselves. And C, this is one great way of avoiding these problems. Then we can sleep. And
Thank you. D and E, I'm going to ask Al-Juhada. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay, will you read D and E for us?
Okay. D. Is it better to tolerate problems and difficulties or to fight them? E. But there is another problem. If we die, we sleep, and if we sleep, we might dream. But what kind of dreams would we have?
All right. So now we're in the Hamlet text. I'm going to ask Remus to be very, very brave and read the orange paragraph of Hamlet text.
Okay. The dread of something after date, the undiscovered country from whose born no traveler returns, puzzles the will and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of. Thus conscience does make cowards of us all.
All right. So a couple important vocabulary words. Conscience is what you're thinking in your head. So the little voice that tells you you should do this or you should not do that. And any other very important vocabulary words you guys are confused about? Does anyone want to take a guess at what the paragraph means on the whole? The dread of something after death. That's negative, right? The undiscovered country.
About heavens. Heaven, what happens in one's grave?
Yeah, exactly. It's the unknown, something that's a mystery still. So which letter do you think it is? Does anyone have a guess? A. Exactly. He's asking what comes after death. And might it be better to live? Because if we don't know what comes after death, then it's difficult to make the decision between life and death. Excellent. We're off to a good start. To Juan Sobrado. Would you like to read the second paragraph of Hamlet?
Okay, just a moment. Okay, under B, who wants to fight?
2. It's a yellow paragraph. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time? That's how it starts.
Okay. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time? The oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely. The pangs of despised love, the law's delay. The insolence of office and the spurns. The patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin.
All right. So the last 2 lines, when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin, he's talking about suicide again, right? He's talking about death and his knife, because we went over those words in the beginning. So what letter do you guys think it is? It's definitely not A, because we already put that somewhere. So look over the plain English and think about it a second. And maybe I'll try to help you a little. So when he's talking in this paragraph, he said, who would bear the whips and scorns of time? So the whips and scorns are like all of the problems you face in life. The oppressor's wrong is talking about maybe government and how the government is not necessarily just and honest and right. The pangs of despised love, meaning like if you love someone and they don't love you back. So romantic problems and government problems and all these problems that come with life. And then he says, maybe it's better to commit suicide. Anyone have a guess to what letter it is?
B.
B, yeah. Yeah, he says, who wants to fight against so many problems? And maybe it's better to kill ourselves. So it's definitely B for that paragraph. So the green paragraph is next, number 3. Ismail, will you read that one?
Yes. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them.
All right. So he's asking another question, like which is a better option, to suffer or to take some kind of action and fight? And it's not A, it's not B.
It's D. Is it D?
D. So is it better to tolerate problems and difficulties or to fight them? Exactly. D. It's D. Paragraph number 4. Alex, our Shakespeare expert, will you read that one?
Yeah. To die, to sleep, no more. And by sleep to say we end. The earthquake, age, and the thousand natural shocks. That flesh is hair too. 'Tis a consummation, devoutly to be wished.
Awesome. So back to the plain English text. We only have 2 options left, so this is getting easier. Does anyone have a guess?
Yeah, is it E?
What do you guys think? Is it E? Is he correct?
I think
guess.
it's C.
So our options are either E or C. It's either C is this one great way of avoiding these problems, we can sleep. And E, but there is another problem. If we die, we sleep. If we sleep, we might dream. But what kind of dreams would we have? So he's asking a question in that one. So what do you guys think? Come up with a consensus between you. Is he asking a question?
No, I think it's C.
Does anyone else have an opinion? Is it E or is it C? They're very similar. These last 2 are very similar.
Is it C maybe?
Well, let's read the last paragraph and then we'll go back, because since we've got 2 more, we'll read both of the Shakespeare ones before deciding which of the other ones are the answer. Al-Juhada, will you read the last paragraph for us, the purple one?
Okay. To die, to sleep perchance, to dream. Aye, there is thereof, for in that sleep of death that dreams may come, when we have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us both.
So I think this is where it becomes obvious, because in 5 he says, so if we die, we sleep, and if we sleep, we dream, and who knows what things we'll dream of? Who knows what will happen? And when he says, there's the rub, he's saying, there's the problem. It's not a perfect plan, because who knows what will become of it. So now what do you think? The purple one, is it C or is it E?
C.
Why is it C?
No, it is E.
So if you give an answer, tell me why. If you think it's C, tell me why. If you think it's E, tell me why.
Shall I?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I mean it's asking the same question in both of them. In E and in the purple one, 5, it is saying, it's talking about dreams. It's talking about you don't know when you die what kind of dream you would have. It's not talking about, you know, about just being dead and sleeping.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So the last paragraph asks the question, what kind of dreams would we have? So that's why it's E, for sure. And the 4th paragraph was C. So congratulations, guys. We got through a big text from one of the most difficult writers to read, even in American English classes, like in schools here. This is a really advanced text. So you guys should be very proud that we got through this exercise pretty easily, actually. Yay, round of applause. Okay, so go down to the next page. Hamlet talks about various things that make life difficult. For example, he mentions the oppressor's wrong. Can you give a modern example of this? So what is an oppressor's wrong? Can anyone give me something they think is an oppressor's wrong in modern times? Would you like me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how about when the government is corrupt and treats the citizens unfairly? That's an oppressor's wrong. Definitely. It's a big example. So you guys can come up with smaller examples, like examples of governments who do not treat the citizens correctly, or you can come up with different examples. It could be anything. A teacher, a father, any person with authority can be an oppressor. So, Al-Juhada, can you think of any oppressor's wrongs?
Yes, maybe when a parent refuses to let their children study abroad, or to let them play with their companions.
Yeah, sure. So they're misusing their authority.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Kwan, can you think of one?
Let me check. Well, there are people. Sometimes the majority of times this happens in governments that they pass bills and laws that limit the amount of information that journalists and other people that work in national media can inform.
Yeah, so no freedom of press, no freedom of speech. There's constraint on information and education. Definitely
Exactly.
a misuse of authority. Very
Yes,
good.
and sometimes they used since well in any democratic government, freedom of speech is a right in order to avoid being criticized or even penalized or going against the law. They use different kind of methods to using the same law to make those bills and laws not to be legal in
Exactly.
in quotes. It is legal, but they are oppressive because they are limiting the amount of information that can be given.
Yeah, definitely oppressive. Ismail, would you like to tell us the example you thought of?
Yes, there are some employee who don't give the rights, the legal rights of the employers.
I think you mean it the opposite. So the employers don't give the legal right to employees, right?
Yes.
Exactly. That's a perfect example.
Oppressor employees.
Definitely. You see this a lot around the world. In factories where they make stuff, the employees don't have enough time, or the work is very difficult, or the conditions are dirty and tiring and abusive. Definitely. Good example. Alex Brown? What did you come
And sorry,
up with?
I've been out, so I just came back. I didn't I wasn't here, so I don't know what we were
Okay.
talking about.
So
Sorry.
we're talking about oppressors' wrongs, which was mentioned in the Shakespeare passage. And the other examples people came up with were when employers don't treat their employees properly, or if a father abuses a child. These are misuses of authority, and they are oppressors' wrongs. Can you think of one?
Yeah, like politicians taking money from their countries.
Definitely, yeah, that happens frequently as well. They misuse the funds. Definitely. Awesome. You guys did well. So, next exercise. Can you match these to the following examples with Hamlet's descriptions? So, these are just smaller sentences taken from the passage above that we already read, and it puts them into, it gives you examples of them. So, Aljuhada, will you read the letters A through F?
Okay.
Are you there, Aljuhada?
Hi, sorry.
Okay, continue.
A. Your arrogant friend never treats you with respect. B. You feel old. C. The flowers you send to someone you like are returned. D. Your legal case takes years to be decided. E. You are always nice to someone who treats you badly. F. Your boss is rude to you all the time.
Excellent. And Kwan, will you read numbers 1 through 6? Are you there, Juan?
Yes, I'm just
Awesome.
pulling it up. My computer is very slow. Okay, from 1 to 6, where it starts in the whips.
Yeah.
The whips and scorns of time. 2. The proud man's contumely. 3. The pangs of despised love. 4. The law's delay. 5. The insolence of office. 6. The spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes. Have you experienced any of those problems? Can you add some more examples?
All right. So, A, your arrogant friend never treats you with respect. What Shakespeare phrase do you think that relates to?
Does
Or if you want, we can go with the easiest ones first. So, how about B, you feel old? Is that one easier? You feel old. Which is that relating to?
The whips and scores. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the whips and scorns of time. So someone who's old has had a lot of things to deal with, a lot of problems because of time. And so once you're old, since you've been through all that, you have borne the whips and scorns of time. So B is 1. What about the flowers you send to someone you like are returned?
With number 3.
What?
With number 3.
Number 3, yeah, the pangs of despised love. So if you're romantically interested in someone, you might love them and they reject you. It causes you pain or the pang of despised love. Perfect. Your legal case takes years to be decided. That one's easy, right? What number is that?
the law's delay.
The law's delay, exactly. You're always nice to someone who treats you badly?
The insolence of office.
I don't think so.
Oh, no. Well then it would be the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes.
Yeah, yeah. Number 6, probably. What about your boss is rude to you all the time? If your boss is rude to you?
The insolence of office.
Yeah, insolence of office. What does rude mean?
Like Rose.
Opposite of
Mean.
Opposite of what?
opposite of kind.
Yeah, the opposite of kind, exactly. Someone who's not polite, someone who's mean.
Not polite.
Yeah, definitely the opposite. So someone who's insolent is another synonym for it. And your arrogant friend never treats you with respect? Which one is that then? There's only one we haven't used.
The proud man's.
Yeah, the proud man's contumely. So those are the meaning of the Shakespeare phrases. Because the Shakespeare phrases can be hard to understand by themselves when you read them, especially because you have a whole page of very difficult English. But when you break it down into small chunks, it's easier to understand. And each individual word is just not that important, as we've already sort of seen. The answers are below for you guys. And there's a couple questions. Have you experienced any of these problems, and can you add more examples? So, which have you guys experienced personally? I'll have each of you give me, oh, well, I only have 3 students. Alex, what's one of these problems you've experienced yourself?
Okay, let me look at it. Your arrogant friend never treats you with respect. I think it's something a lot of people have experimented.
Definitely.
Right? So, I think that one. I don't feel old because I'm young, but so yeah, I think that would be the most important.
All right. And how did your friend disrespect you? In what way did he disrespect you?
Like trying to make you trying to make fun of you in front of other people, for example, or some kind of thing like that.
Yeah, definitely. Ismail, what of these problems have you experienced?
Your legal case takes years to be decided.
That's happened to you?
Yes, it's happened to me many times because the legal case in my country long too many years. It's a difficult and a long process to end a legal case.
Yeah, and if it doesn't happen quickly, sometimes it's not helpful.
Yes. After a long time, if you win the case, the importance is not so important for you.
All right. And Juan, what of those have you experienced?
Almost all of them. The insolence of office and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes.
All right. Do you have any examples of your own life, like how you've experienced those?
Yes. Well, trying to, well, not trying because that would be fake. Being a good person, doing good for the other. Maybe because I like when that happens to me. And well, having some sour experiences, about the reaction of that other person.
Mm-hmm.
It has happened in general, social, sentimental.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's about it for today. I have another class coming up, and it's a conversation class about sleep. And there's also like a small article to read, and then we'll discuss. So if you guys are interested, join me in the next class. And otherwise, I'll see you another time. Thank you for participating. I had fun.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Michaela. Goodbye.